You are listening to Wicked Psychotherapists, a podcast where two psychotherapists show you that taking care of and learning about mental health doesn't have to be wicked hat.
Hey guys, it's Tanya.
Hi, it's Erin, and welcome to Wicked Psychotherapist.
Yeah, welcome back. So we are returning to. Did we stray away from Adam? Did we stray away last time?
I don't think so. I think no, because the last one recorded is Pixels, and I'm going to release it out this week. And that
Right.
we've been pretty Adam strong the past several, because we did
Strong.
Spaceman and Cobbler, and there's been we've talked about Steve Buscemi, but we haven't veered there yet.
Yes, we haven't. That's our degrees of separation. Yeah. So we will eventually head down that way, but today we're going to be doing another Adam classic, which is Sandy Wexler. Not too old, 2017, about almost 10 years now. But this was a really interesting movie. I thought that apparently was based on. Erin was telling me this. I wasn't aware that it was based on Adam Sandler's real life manager for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And his name was cool. Sandy something. Yeah. Sandy something or other.
Yeah. So this is like kind of a caricature, maybe a little bit of a tribute. I don't know. But for some reason, I tend to like portrayals of people. Like, even if it's like there's creative license taken on it.
Right.
I tend to like that a little better. I don't know.
I do too. I like, even like when I'm reading books, I like that. I don't like always like the autobiography or biography, but I like historical fiction a little bit more, like a play on. You're like, I know this is loosely based on such and such, so I liked that part of this movie too.
Yeah, it definitely brought about, I think, some more authenticity, which is kind of funny because that's one of the elements and the themes in the movie itself. But I think Adam did a great job, and I mean, I don't know what his real life manager sounded like, but it seemed like he did a good job because it was like a funny character, and he seemed to really be like
over the top with the big glasses and the bad clothes
and the accent and the way he talked. Like, it was just very, very particular way of speaking and communicating with people. But so we meet Sandy. He's a manager to like celebrities. We kind of get to know him. We kind of see that he seems to really work hard for the people that he works for, but he's got a problem, right? He's a pathological liar. He just kind of makes things up a lot. He's not good at telling the truth. He kind of exaggerates his importance, who he knows. He's always kind of saying he knows people when he doesn't, and this takes place in the 90s, which is probably when Adam worked with him a lot, so maybe he's like pulling from real life stories. I don't know. But yeah, he definitely, you get the sense that he's just not very authentic. Like, he's always kind of trying to put up a front, and at first you're kind of like, it's kind of annoying, it's kind of weird, but he seems like a good guy,
right?
It's and in between you're getting clips from people who are actual celebrities, who are commenting on like, oh yeah, he just could never tell the truth, he was always making things up, he was always exaggerating. And we see the whole crew there. We see David Spade, Dana Carvey, Vanilla Ice, Pauly Shore, a lot of different celebrities make appearances in this. And they're kind of all talking about, like, they all know Sandy. We're kind of not really sure in what capacity. We're like, is did they have him as a manager? Like, it's kind of a mystery until the end, sort of. But yeah, he's definitely, a lot of people are well aware of his inability to tell the truth, I guess.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I think as we move throughout the movie, we start to see that there may be, it's not so much that he's just doing this because he's just kind of, doesn't tell the truth and it's just fun for him. It's almost like he got into a pattern of doing this because this is how he feels like he is able to do this job, like that kind of makes him effective. He thinks, even though people are actually picking up on this and are feeling like wondering why he's doing it. So it's kind of contradictory because he's kind of living in his own little world there.
Yeah.
He's not really sure, like,
Yeah. I was wondering too, with the lies or the exaggerated truth, if a lot of it was he was alone, he was really lonely or something, because you see him trying to act like he's bigger than life, very important, but then also in the same sense, his 4 or 5 clients are his whole life, and he doesn't seem like he really has any family or friends or anyone that cares for him. And I don't know if that's why he feels like he has to lie and exaggerate so much. And
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, he does seem kind of isolated, and yeah, and he knows his clients, but like it's more in a work capacity, right? It's not really like he's not really super connected with anybody personally. So maybe he kind of feels like he has to put up this persona of like, oh, I'm the successful manager. I know all these people. I'm connected, and people are really just looking to get jobs and to have venues set up for them. They're not really interested in all this stuff that he's saying, but I think that's kind of what he's gleaning as, like, oh, this is a successful manager, for these people.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And a lot of them are not going to call him out. Like even the the Daredevil guy, like that's the the guy who I always hate in all the movies. I can't Nick Schwartzen or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
But I actually liked him in this one. Maybe it's because he's getting burnt up or something. But I liked him. But even him, he's like so trusting, even though Sandy is lying. He's like, oh yeah, you'll be fine. Like, or whatever. And like I've looked, and he's like, no, you're not listening. What I'm asking is, what about the birds? What about this? And so, like a lot of like it actually puts people in harm's way, like by like him not wanting to, like it's almost like he wants to tell them what he thinks they want to hear too. Even
he's got some people pleaser tendencies. But it's to a degree where it causes harm to other people and to himself too, because he obviously he's kind of putting some strain on these relationships as he moves along, and he's creating more and more distrust. And so I mean, we kind of see right from the get-go that he's Sandy is not really someone who's very connected with himself. He doesn't really maybe he doesn't really know who he is, or maybe he's afraid of just showing that he is somebody who does care, but he maybe doesn't have the biggest Rolodex, right? I'm going to use a term from the 90s, like the biggest Rolodex of networking with people and everything. But yeah, and what did you think of Sandy's living space. His
Well, it's so funny. Well, especially because he has Dobermans. I was like, yay, Dobermans are being represented. Well, I love the Dobermans. I thought they were great. They did very good acting. But I also thought that the um, Rob Schneider character, the billionaire, I thought it was hysterical that he's like, you're not allowed to use the pool. You can't do anything.
yeah.
But also that part that they're like, oh, you should see the place he lives, da, 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 but he's in the guest house. And I know I'm jumping ahead, but I loved how the billionaire seems to be the only one that knows Sandy's lying about everything. And he like calls him out, like even with the pool. He knew he
Yeah.
swam to the pool. Oh no, we didn't. And I don't know if Sandy was worried he's going to get kicked out or what, but the billionaire is still like, he still lives there. He's goes to his wedding, or he helps, he drives a limo and helps manage all that stuff. But it is, yeah, I think it's interesting that he's the only one that really calls him out on his lies, like straight up.
Yeah. I mean, probably because he's got nothing to lose, because he's like, I'm letting you stay here, kind
Right.
of thing. And he sees everything he's doing. Like he like monitors him, which is creepy.
Creepy, so creepy.
And like he doesn't apparently he didn't realize it until he started talking to him through like the intercom and was like, wait, you can see me? Which makes me wonder how that living arrangement even
started.
I wonder if that was real. Like if that was the real Sandy, if he did have a living arrangement like that.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I just house sit this plate, or I don't even know if he's house sitting because he's not allowed in the house, or he's just there.
They said it's something for like legal reasons or something, that somebody has to be there. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
and that
who
probably
knows
is.
if that's just
I don't. I don't know the legalities of like if you have so many houses, you have to have somebody live on premise.
yeah. Yeah, there's something. And I mean, who knows if they were just making that up? It's in the Adam verse or whatever,
Yeah.
of just weird, funny things, or if that actually was the case. Who knows? Because this was a very strange story, I think, and strange characters.
How much is real? How much isn't?
Yeah. Like how, because I mean, obviously there's going to be some creative license taken, but I don't know. Sandy seems like he was a character as well too.
Yeah, and it's interesting too on that living arrangement. He's such a liar, and everything else. He's like not worrying who he's lying to or what rule is being broken. But at his house, he's such a rule follower. He's like, oh no, we can't do this. We can't. We're not allowed to do this unless that's just his safety. Like his self-preservation of not wanting to be homeless.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe he knows like he couldn't really get anything better than that. Like that's a situation, you know.
I don't think anyone could. I mean, besides getting attacked every time he came into his house, that probably wasn't fun.
Yeah, because the dogs like apparently like everyone but him.
I thought it was hysterical when his real wife is playing like the wanting to be actress, and like the dogs are all like kissing her and laying on the couch with her.
And he's like, and then they like just growl and run after him, and yeah. He's like, careful, they're really vicious, and then they're like little puppies playing with everyone else. Like
they just hate him.
I think there's a lot of themes here with, having to create like mask kind of your own your true self, having to put on like a facade, because maybe there's we don't know much of Sandy's backstory, but we can kind of glean that he maybe is, like you said, kind of lonely, maybe hasn't been accepted too much, maybe isn't too connected with who he is, and just thinks, oh, this is how you act as a successful manager to the stars or whatever.
And it's interesting too, because you had said I wonder what his backstory is. Like, we didn't know, like, there wasn't a part 1 of Sandy Wexler. So we don't know how many jobs he had before. Like, was he constantly fired? And that's why he started his own management company or whatever. Or like, what was his interaction with his family or friends, that if he ever had any, or, like, so that would have been nice to know. Like, well, why he wanted to become a manager, but also why he is lying so much.
We, come to think of it, we do know his client Alfred, right, is his first one, who would
Right.
come to figure out is someone down the road, but that he apparently left him because in his mind, we find out that this is not the case, but he always thought for many years, he became big and successful, and his client Alfred, and so he thought, oh, well, he just left me because I wasn't enough. So I wonder if that kind of played into part of it as well.
Yeah.
And so maybe he kind of felt like, oh, I have to be big for these people because then they'll want to keep going with me when they like make it big. And
Oh.
So
Mm-hmm.
we end up finding out later on this his client Alfred is Weird Al Yankovic. It's
Yeah.
not Alfred. When Sandy asks him like, "Oh, you left me because you got big," I get it. And he's like, "That wasn't it. It's because you lied all the time and you couldn't like seem to tell the truth. And
Mm-hmm.
even when it was right in front of you, you just couldn't seem to tell the truth." And
Yeah.
so he's confronted with another assumption he's been going on, that he's been living this, kind of life of like, hey, I feel like maybe I'm not good enough, and there's probably other things that contributed to it, but I wonder if that was kind of like the first cut, maybe, like with
Mm-hmm.
Weird Al, is that he kind of felt like, oh, I have to pretend to be this big shot because otherwise they'll leave me, and then
Yeah.
I discover all these people and I'm just kind of left alone.
Yeah. And Weird Al even said, like, you came up with the idea of the Hawaiian shirts and this, and you helped me with the parodies, but
Which is like his main thing.
yeah, and you were my best friend. And
Yeah.
then, like, I lost that because you couldn't even be honest and tell me that you didn't like my hair or you didn't like this, and that was kind of the pivotal point, because I don't think anybody's ever really said it to his face of like, Sandy, we know you're a liar. Like,
Yeah.
stop lying.
Yeah, because and it's interesting because I wonder if maybe they never said it to him because they kind of felt like maybe there is some boosting with like celebrities that you kind of do need to do, right?
Right.
When they kind of were like, okay, he went too far, but they kind of maybe need to be lied to a little bit, kind of like given a little bit of time in like Delulu land, sort of,
Yeah.
uh,
I was
yeah.
just thinking when you said that about like the boosting of the Jerry Maguire movie, like where Tom Cruise is like, so like, that's his persona for like, I
Yeah.
got to boost you, got to make sure everyone thinks you're the best and you're the best.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
And so that probably is a lot of agents and managers' job in Hollywood. It's like, okay, got to let you, feel like you're the best and everyone around you. And, even if I'm not feeling it or
Yeah.
if I don't believe it.
Yeah, because if this person doesn't have, the person who's like discovering them and who's getting them, kind of promoting them, if they don't feel confidence in them, then who
Hmm.
is? And so maybe that's part of it. But he just went. He almost went way too far over the line to the point where
Yeah.
it like wasn't helpful. And yeah, and so I think that's the point where people kind of backed away, and he wasn't
Um,
realizing that. But
why? I'm curious. Why did the Kevin James puppet master character, whatever he is, Why was he the only one that didn't fire him? Like, why did he not lie to him? Or
I don't know. I don't know if it was just kind of a loyalty. Maybe he didn't think many people would take him on as a puppeteer or something. I don't know.
right?
But he did, yeah, I mean, he did have some disagreement with him, wasn't it? Like when Sandy was like, "Oh, you should go to like theme parks or something like that," and he was like, "No, I don't think that's the way to go." But then
Yeah,
maybe he saw that like, oh, maybe that actually was a good idea, so maybe he thought like, oh, he has good ideas or something. I
right.
don't know.
And maybe he also was happy because he's one of the few people that became successful. Like he had his own Captain Kangaroo type of show. So maybe
Yeah.
that, like the, you know, I don't remember his name besides Kevin James. Um, like maybe
I
he
don't
just,
either. I know he had curly hair, like that curly wig or whatever. Yeah,
yeah, and
or
the
I
big
don't know.
mustache, like the Paul Blart mustache. He even officiated the wedding, the first wedding.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah. A lot of people really wanted to stick with him, but it just became too much, and it just didn't make
Yeah,
sense after a while. And
yeah,
um, it breaks with Weird Al, but it also even before then he kind of discovers a singer at I think it was Six Flags. It was like a Six Flags theme
yeah.
park where Jennifer Hudson's character, who's like an amazing singer, Courtney, um, was like singing. She's too good for this,
Hmm.
like she could be a star. Um, and he goes up to her, he talks to her, and she's kind of cynical, kind of like, I don't really know if I trust
Yeah,
this. And because he's boosting her up with some of his typical lies too, but
yeah,
I think he really does see the potential in her. He just,
yeah.
again, he has to like pad it with his lies because he's insecure. He's just
Hmm.
very, he just always needs that.
But it's also interesting, even though she was skeptical, something about it she still must have believed because she's like, all right, let's fly to Alaska and talk to my dad.
That was pretty funny how she like had him like believing that he was a prisoner and he was actually like the
Warden or something, or yes,
yeah, or like he was like staff there, and
yeah.
he was like had him believing that the whole time and like just didn't correct that. I thought that
Yeah,
was
I liked
funny.
when he's like, oh, do you want to go out to eat? It's like, oh wait, you can't.
He's like, what do you mean? I just work here. Um, yeah, and they had like a nice moment. They had a nice point of connection where like she shows him, where she grew up in like the Northern Lights, which I thought was
Hmm.
just amazing. Whether that was real or not, I don't care. I still thought it was awesome.
Yeah,
There's a connection there, right? Like I wasn't
right.
really sure at first if it was romantic-y or if it was more just like a human connection because
Hmm.
to me there seems to be an age difference, but which is not necessarily, it's not a hindrance, but it kind of it felt more like a human connection at first.
Hmm.
I know obviously
Yeah,
that
changed.
changes, yeah.
Yeah, it did seem like it was a biological age difference and also an emotional age difference. It didn't seem like
Yeah.
they were matching at all. And but there must have been some kind of soul connection or something because they both, it's interesting when they had the photos done by the photographer, and they both chose the one picture that they wanted to be blown up. And he's like, oh, that's
Yeah.
interesting. He's like, Sandy asked me for that same picture.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that. Yeah, they both were, and they didn't realize that the other one had chosen that. That was kind of cute. It was kind of a nice moment, where you
Hmm.
realize they have some sort of something, and you start to see
Right.
with Courtney, like she's starting to make it big. And then her boyfriend Bling, I think his name is, convinces Sandy like she's too big for you, like you can't handle how great she's going to be, and so
Yeah.
he
Step
doesn't have
away.
the confidence and he like backs away. Like that kind of says it all. Like he really doesn't feel like he,
Hmm.
once they kind of hit it big, he's got like a real like wound there, you know, like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm not big enough for that. I'm not good enough for
Yeah.
that. And so he backs away. She continues to win like all these Grammys. Is it
Grammys.
Grammys?
Yeah.
Is that the one for
Yeah. I'm glad
singing?
you said Grammy because I almost said Emmy.
I almost
So,
did too. I was like, wait, I think it's Grammy. I was hoping you would know because I always mix those up.
yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's Grammys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. Yeah, it's Grammy. Emmy is TV. So,
Okay. Okay. Um. Yeah, like she's winning like Grammys, and we start to see that she's spiraling, and she's not really dating. Even though she's dating these men that are like high celebrities, they're kind of
yeah.
treating her badly. She's not very happy. She says call Sandy when she's kind of like drunk and kind of just like kind of maybe having a little bit of a breakdown at a
Hmm.
restaurant, and like gives his number. So she's still thinking of him. She still thinks of him as like a solid person.
A safety.
Yeah, yeah, safety. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
You know what else is? Did you know why too? Because just like Weird Al, I think Courtney might have been the first person to really call him out. Like he's eating with his mouth open. She's like, "Are you gonna get any of that in your mouth?" Like when they first start talking,
Yes.
she every single thing she's very blunt about confronting him and just being very real. And again, a lot of people that he works with or has as clients kind of skirt around it.
Yeah. Yeah. She doesn't really let him get away with anything. We start to see is not happy because this is not maybe really the life she wanted.
Right.
She's a small town girl from Alaska, and
Yeah.
not to say that, I mean, it sounds like she was, kind of bored there, but it sounds like she also maybe didn't want this much fame, and so maybe
Mm-hmm.
she can recognize and see it in what she kind of knows for herself. She sees it in him, and
Mm-hmm.
I think that's kind of a big connection point between them. That's why
Yeah.
they kind of do have that connection.
I agree.
Um, it's interesting because she's just not. She doesn't seem to be one for like the superficial, like dating all these people just to say she's dating them. Like she's actually really not happy with them because they're just kind of shallow and stupid and
Right.
treat her poorly, and um, yeah, and so there's kind of a
Even
little
Lenny,
bit of a
even
setup there.
I was gonna say, even Lenny Kravitz, she didn't want to date.
I forgot about him. Yeah, there's so many people in there, like so many celebrities. I forget all the ones
Yeah,
that
I
are in
mean,
there.
I Tanya and I were talking. I even was not annoyed at Pauly Shore in
Yeah,
this.
yeah, it wasn't too much either. Yeah, he wasn't acting like his like goofy like yeah like the
Buddy.
person that we
Yeah,
hate. Yeah,
stupid Pauly
buddy.
Shore.
Yeah, yeah. We don't love him, and if you don't know why, go back to Polly Shore is Dead and just yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Just watch Pauly Shore is Dead and then tell us.
Yes, and then
But I love
also just just see his early stuff, and you'll know.
right.
Also, just in general, yeah, or just his stuff. Actually, most of his stuff.
Hmm.
But we kind of see there's a good connection there with Courtney and Sandy, and you start to realize like, okay, both of them I think are realizing we don't need this facade of like, Courtney doesn't need to be super famous. She's kind of thinking of maybe stepping away. He doesn't want her to because he sees her talent, but maybe thinks like, you don't have to put on this persona. You don't have to be like this like A-lister who's always dating, you
Right.
know, the newest guy or whatever. And she also helps him along with Weird Al, kind of to be like, hey, like you can just you have the heart, you want to help people, you're a good manager, you don't have to hide behind all these celebrity names and these lies that you're making up, all this big network of people.
Hmm.
um there's a lot of authenticity, identity, kind of um just like themes I think in this that are popping up to kind of say that we all probably have at one point in our lives, if not maybe multiple points, kind of felt like imposters or felt like we're not good enough. And so we we might highlight different things, or we might kind of tell, white lies kind of things like that. Maybe to fake it till you make it, or maybe just to kind of feel like, oh, that's what I need to do, or I need to exaggerate, I don't know, like in middle school or something, high school, maybe being like, oh yeah, I've dated this many people, when like maybe you've never had your first kiss kind of thing,
Right.
like I think it's very universal in that way. People can relate to it.
I agree.
We end up seeing at the end that all these celebrities that they're interviewing, they're actually at a wedding. Guess who's getting married? That's Sandy and Courtney. And and so they really did have a connection, and all these celebrities are saying like, yeah, I signed with him because they started to see he really did have value once he kind of let that kind of an authentic mask drop, and he really is a good manager. And he's able to connect with people, I think, on a deeper level and better level. As far as the real Hollywood, I don't know. I don't know how if that would be real or not. I don't know if that was a real part of maybe the real Sandy's life. Maybe it was.
I don't know. I've read about the real Sandy. He was Adam Sandler's manager for like 30 years, and he really was Rob Schneider and Lorne Michaels, and I'm sure a bunch of other people. And he was in the movie. He was like the old man who was like dying, but then he was at the wedding also. He was sitting at the table at one of the wedding. I remember seeing him at one of the tables. But yeah, I do not know how he really was, or maybe he did have all those people or didn't, or yeah, I don't know how we would find that out. But it was probably created in love, the movie, like if it was loosely based on this person.
So yeah, and the fact that he participated, the real Sandy himself, it seems like he saw the good intention in that, there was the real person behind this facade was actually a really good person. There was just some stuff he had to wade through again, which I think is very universal. I think a lot of people do it, maybe not to that extreme, and maybe not to that level, because it felt like he had a lot to live up to, for celebrity networking and having those names in his pocket and everything. So
yeah, and I think, and you mentioned too, I think a lot of people, no matter what field or what you're doing, do experience imposter syndrome. And that's one thing as therapists, we're always like, oh my, it's like, oh gosh, am I really doing this right? Do I know what I have? It's like, wait a minute, you've gone through school, you're doing this, you are not an imposter.
Yeah, for sure. That's a big, like something we hear a lot with therapists. I think they even talked about it when we were in grad school too, that like you'll probably feel this way. But yeah, it is because you get training, but then you're kind of on your own, right? You don't have somebody in the room with you. Like you get supervision to a certain degree, but then it's like you can network with like other therapists, but like it's kind of on you, and so you kind of don't know if you're doing a great job, and am I doing enough? And it's it can be really tough. I think you kind of have to gain a lot of experience and a lot of confidence, and then even then you could still pick up a new skill or get like a new client that you're like, oh man, it can have you questioning right back from square one. Right?
Yeah, I know. Like, anytime I've gotten training, I'm like, oh, do I want to use this? Or it's so scary.
It's a lot. And I mean, of course we know other professions obviously experience that as well. We're just speaking from our points of view.
Yeah.
But it is definitely a big thing. I hear it a lot from my clients too. I hear it a lot from them, just in like various fields, that they feel it a lot. And this could be anywhere from like business, finance, tech, whatever, right? Like all different varied fields. I don't really know if I'm doing a good job, and we kind of go over like, hey, did you get how was your review? What's your feedback? You know, and kind of
Right.
being like, those are kind of your anchors, the things that
Yeah.
you
It's
can
like, oh, wait, I got all
rely on.
3s, or I did really, or 2s, or whatever. It's like I did a lot better than I
Yeah.
thought. And it's like, then you try to reframe it and help them realize, like, wait a minute, maybe you're not an imposter. And
Yeah. Yeah. It's just that, you know, I think it's kind of normalizing for them too that like a lot of people experience this, and especially for younger professionals starting out, but even people later on in their careers, but that we're not going to get the same validation. Like we're not going to get a grade on a test,
Mhm.
right? Like that we do in
Right.
school. We're not going to get feedback on a paper. Instead, you kind of have to wait for those points and kind of just know that, you know, you're doing this, and to know if when you need to ask for help kind of thing.
Right.
I feel like it's been pretty steady throughout, I mean, like my time working with adults, that they feel like
Yeah.
imposters at work.
Yeah. Well, and also I think it's based on how the leadership is, or how, like, if you're only getting a review once a year
Yeah.
and not having check-ins every so often, it's hard. And probably the same with going back to Sandy. I'm sure it's hard. It was hard for him because he's like, oh yeah, I'm doing great. I'm hustling and trying to get all these people and they're never saying like, hey, I don't really enjoy getting a 3rd-degree burn or this or that. You know, like it's hard to know if you're doing a good job or a bad job.
Yeah. No, absolutely. You kind of have to develop your own systems of reinforcing it for yourself, and
Mm-hmm.
also, you know, check-ins and things like that. And,
Right.
you know, I always tell people that I'm working with, like, you can always, you know, ask, you know, how am I doing? Is there anything I could do, you know, in
Mm-hmm.
between? Because some managers or like higher ups don't really think about that necessarily, that
Right.
you're not getting that feedback. So they just may not know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, or yeah, they just may not be putting themselves in you know, their shoes because they've been at that position for so long. You know, who
Yeah, they
knows?
know it. And yeah, that's why a lot of times too, when you start a new job, sometimes people are like, oh yeah, I got like 2 days of training. It's like, what? It's,
Yeah,
like, instead of like the week or whatever it might be shadowing, and it's because the person training you is like, well, I've been doing this job for 2 years or 3 years,
yeah,
and I know what's to be done. And so, and that's also like, it's okay to ask. It's okay to say, hey, I might need more than, you know, 18 hours of training, or whatever.
yeah, yeah. No, really, seriously, yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, that is a lot of places. You just don't
But
get that
yeah,
much training and you get thrown
I
out
know.
there. I thought that was a pretty good movie. I thought there was,
Yeah.
you know, some points that kind of dragged
I,
on a little bit, but
yeah. I mean, there was parts where you're like, okay, this is long, but I think the interviews, it felt like that was a lot. A lot of the cameos were drawn out. I And there were some parts where I'm like, okay, well, he and Courtney just get together because that's going to happen.
yeah,
Like, I felt like, okay, they're gonna somehow fall in love, but I guess they didn't want to make it a romantic comedy. And
yeah,
those were kind of the things I felt like was dragging out a little bit. But I did like the end, even though it was a little campy when he's singing to everybody.
yeah,
Like, I
yeah.
like that. I thought it was fun. And
It was
yeah,
nice, yeah.
yeah,
I liked it, yeah. Yeah, I think it was really good too. It was actually surprised me because I really didn't know what it was about. Even though I realized I'd seen it before, must have totally
yeah,
forgot. But
yeah.
I thought it
Yeah,
was it
I
was
had no
good.
idea. I had no idea what it was. I didn't look up ahead until I started watching, and then I was like, "Oh wait, this is a real person." Yeah, I mean, based loosely on a real person or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. I actually didn't realize until you told me in our pre-games. I didn't realize that was based on a real person. So that actually makes it even better for me. I like that
Yeah,
when there's
yeah,
that element
yeah.
involved.
Oh, and another thing I liked about the movie, I loved how well they made you feel like it was in the 90s.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
liked that, like the
Like
early
they set
90s.
everything up. They didn't,
Yeah.
have any cell phones
Yeah,
or
it felt real. Like, it felt like, okay, this is
yeah,
they.
time jump
Mhm.
there.
Oh, and another thing too is the cameos were people who were big stars in the early 90s. Like, they had Jason Priestley from 90210.
Yeah,
They had,
Lisa
like,
Loeb.
yes, the person from MTV, Downtown Julie Brown. They
Yes.
had Henry Winkler. So there's a lot of people that were big in that time. It was kind of neat. So they didn't have like all celebrities. They were very purposeful about which ones they had. So that was
That's
fun.
true.
That part was
Vanilla
fun.
Ice, yeah. That's
Yeah.
all those people that yeah, they were pretty big then. Yeah.
And
'Cause
that's funny too.
I didn't understand that at first, and then I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay."
Yeah. And that's funny too. Like, we always talk about that Adam has his loyalty. Speaking of loyalty, like how Sandy was very loyal, but there's all like, his gang, but some of his gang is not his original gang too. It's like Vanilla Ice. It's Henry Winkler. Like we see those two in like a lot of
Yeah.
his different movies too. I mean, like Little Nicky and other, of course, Henry Winkler seems to have been in like almost all of his movies, but
So funny. It is always good to see that, and there was just so many of them in that. I thought it was
it was good.
incorporated well. Yeah.
So that part was really fun. I just felt like some of the interviewing, but I guess it does make sense if you go back. You're like, okay, I can understand why there were so many interviews, but I felt like it could have been cleaned up a little bit or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it didn't need to be as much or as many. Like you kind of got the point after a couple of times. Yeah.
Right.
Overall, it was really good. I liked it. I just kind of had to go multitask and do other things when it was kind of dragging a little bit. But otherwise, I thought it was a fun movie. I thought it was nice. It was good. It was a good tribute, I think, to someone to help them help people understand.
Yeah.
Kind of a complex character where maybe he could have been portrayed as just somebody who lied and then finally was okay with it, as opposed to being able to demonstrate there's reasons why, and there's things he was feeling not so good about himself with and had to discover before he could feel okay. So, are we ready for the challenge question?
Of course.
Okay. So, much like Sandy, he liked to brag about how many people he knew, his big network of people, which he ends up having actually. But if you were able to have one celebrity, except for Adam Sandler, because we got it, because that I think we both say that.
That's not fair. Yeah.
I know, we have to kind of take that one out there, except for Adam Sandler. If you were able to say, and have a connection and have a friendship with one celebrity, could be a past celebrity, could be present celebrity, who would that be?
I think it would be pretty easy for me to say. I think it would be Jennifer Gardner. I love her. And I've loved her since Dude, Where's My Car? And I've followed her, I loved Alias, 13 Going on 30. I follow her on Instagram. I just like everything about her. I like that she farms. I like that she's silly and just works out a lot. And I think she would just be fun to know.
That's a good answer. Just kind of, she'd be a good down to earth friend, but also be fun and kind of offer up some elements. She wouldn't be too far gone into celebrityhood.
Yeah, and I think she's only maybe a year older than me, and she's way lot more in shape. She's just she's just a machine.
Well, she's also, she's also got access to.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But I see what you're saying. You admire that about her, and she.
Yeah, I like that. I like her. Yeah, she seems like she's.
Yeah,
would be a really nice person.
No, she does. She really does. Yeah, she doesn't seem like she's really putting on a front or whatever. I mean, I'm sure there's a backstage to every celebrity personality, of course, right? But I don't think hers is so drastically different,
right?
Yeah, but no, that's a good choice. And once again, I posed the question and didn't think of my answer. So I'm really kind of scrambling here. Yeah, I wish Betty White were still alive, because I would definitely say Betty White. or B. Arthur, somebody from the Golden Girls. But I or Judy Garland. I like those classical kind
Yeah.
of era, but I would say present day. I'm trying to think of who I follow on Instagram and who I think is pretty cool. I don't really know. I don't know that I really follow too many celebrities, but I'm sure I do. I I really don't know. So I'm drawing a blank right now. Um, I kind of think somebody kind of like Reese Witherspoon, but at the same time, I'm kind of
Oh,
I I mean that's kind of, or Jennifer Aniston, kind of those
yeah.
types of people, but I'm kind of
Yeah.
that's they seem pretty cool. I don't know,
And
somebody like that.
I love that Reese has the book club,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
so she's been promoting reading for years, which is nice.
yeah. She does do a lot of that, and she's very much into women-owned businesses, and she has
Yeah.
a production company that's very promoting women's films. I
Mhm.
do really like that about her. I do think she is very intelligent, very
Yeah.
um
I don't know if you've seen it. Like, it's the Legally Blonde. There's a show. I think it's on Prime.
the
It is
prequel
it is
kind of
so good. It is so good. And she either wrote it or produced it. I know she found the L character. It's really good.
I have heard it's pretty good. So um yeah, maybe I'll check that out. But yeah, I guess that would be my answer. I don't know, somebody
Okay.
kind of like her, I think.
Yeah, she seems fun. She seems like she would
Yeah.
be up for anything. Just kind of
Yeah.
like up for anything, or just like, let's just sit quietly and read together.
Yeah. She seems interesting to me,
Yeah,
and
she does. And very
she's
smart.
smart, and yeah, I think kind of has some good, kind of values. So
Probably
yeah.
extremely driven. She seems like somebody that probably wakes up at 4, just continues.
Yeah. Yeah. And just is able to kind of get that done. That would
Yeah.
be, yeah, maybe I'd actually feel bad about myself being friends with her, but whatever. It would be inspiring. But yeah, so yeah, let us know what who your celebrity pick would be. Maybe give it more thought than I did. And what you thought about Sandy Wexler, or if you want to go see it. Um, it's
Well, you probably
it's worth
can't
a
go see it.
watch. Yeah. Where was it
Let us
actually?
know.
Was it on Prime or was it on
I think it was straight to Netflix. I think
Netflix?
it was a
Okay, yeah.
Netflix one.
I mean, most people have Netflix, so that's pretty
Yeah.
available.
Yeah, I
Um,
approve of it. I mean, I think it was great.
yeah, but yeah, and let us know what you think. If there's anything else you want to add, any ideas for future shows, we like to hear from you. We
Hmm.
are on all social media platforms,
Yes,
anywhere you listen to podcasts.
yep, and I've actually been better about putting stuff on YouTube. So I I've been trying to post one or two. I'm a couple behind still, but been getting much better, at least doing something weekly. So
Okay,
yay.
that's great.
Find us. Yep, find us
Yeah,
somewhere.
yeah.
And share with your friends or whatever.
Leave us a review. 5 stars is great. Otherwise, maybe just give us a little more time before you give us the 5 stars if you're not there
Thank you.
yet. Yeah, but
That's true.
um,
Yes. Just pause
yeah.
and get, yeah, and listen to other episodes, and you might be like, okay, I'll give it to them.
We hope you stay wicked.
And keep your mind well. All right, everyone. Have a great week. Bye
Bye, guys.
bye.